Welcome back to Main Street Living, Danielle Cheryl. One of the best parts of Black History Month is actually learning about our African American neighbors who are following their dreams and creating successful legacies.
That's right. And our next guest is a great example of that. She's an entrepreneur who understands that true success comes from lifting up others. Please welcome Cassandra Shag. Cassandra, thanks for joining us on Main Street Living.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, you did the dream that a lot of people have here. A few years ago, you left a career in corporate America to become
That's,
an entrepreneur. What led to that decision for you?
I guess the question is why not? If
Hmm.
you believe that you have what it takes to take a leap of faith and a risk in yourself, then why not take that risk and that leap? And if things don't work out, you can always get a job back in corporate America. And so that's what I decided to do. I moved into a town called Escondido, California, north of San Diego, and decided to open a wine and beer tasting room because, to be quite honest, that is what I love to do. And Sip Wine and Beer was born.
Ooh,
You're
and
right. That job will always be waiting for you.
yeah, I think we all love to do that. And it takes a lot of courage to go out on your own and do something like that. And I know your work in social services
Yeah.
help the underrepresented. And it sounds like you carried out that same goal into your bar, SIP. So tell us about that and why that is important to you.
Yeah, in corporate America, and I think in any landscape, I believe that women and people of color and people like myself who are daring to take risks, we sometimes think that we can't do it. We sometimes get in our own way, and we have this fear. And in working with various communities, tribal communities, working up and down the state of California, I just thought I needed to take a risk for myself, and I wanted to be happy and identify what made me happy. And so connecting with people was that thing. And then I was able to understand what was happening in my community from a perspective of wine and beer and agriculture and fuse those things by creating Sip Wine and Beer.
Well, so it's interesting because you said up and down California, and
Yeah.
in that search for you for female and Black, Indigenous, people of color brewers and wine producers, were you surprised by what you found?
I, I think it's no surprise when you really do the homework and
Mhm.
as someone who's become an entrepreneur in this space, when you're looking for people who look like you. And you have to
Mhm.
remember, I started this in 2015, so I'm 8 years in, and the growth has been tremendous, but it was lonely when I first started. And
Hmm.
you also have to look at it too. When people come in, they're like, how did you even get into this? Because it's very rare that you see people looking like me in this industry.
Hmm.
And so I think that just became a springboard to making sure that there were more people who look like me in this industry because we are consumers. We do drink wine, we drink beer, and we love to celebrate people and we love to celebrate. So here we are.
Who
Mhm.
doesn't like that? And we want to know more about Sip Wine and Beer. Tell us more about what it feels like in that space.
Yes, so it's a very homey vibe. It's the from the music to the ambiance. The goal was to walk in and just to feel at home and welcome. And one of the things that I think is very important, I know when people uh, go to wine and beer, or, they order wine and beer, they think that it has to be done a certain way or they're supposed to know certain things. And that's not the case here. It's pretty much a space where you can relax and enjoy the company of great people, networking, meeting wine and beer, brands and entrepreneurs who decided to take a leap of faith like myself and to just really connect with each other, put your phones down, listen to great music, taste and learn about wine, but to really be in a space where you can be you is pretty much the ambiance that I've set there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what all of us want to be surrounded by, I think. I know you talked about you've been doing this for the past 8 years. Do you feel like it's kind of achieved the goal you were hoping to achieve?
I think the statistics are a lot of businesses don't even make it past 3 years, yet alone
Mm,
5.
Hmm.
mm.
So to be here for 8, is a testament to how fast time flies. But I really think it's a testament to the community around me who have been supportive because it takes a community to keep a business going. And I'm very lucky, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very blessed that the community has been supportive since day one.
Oh, and we know that running any kind of business, especially a wine and beer bar, is a lot of work. But you decided that you wanted an even bigger reach, which I think is so cool. So tell us why you decided to produce and host a television show.
You know, sometimes I think in life you just have to roll with the punches, and you surrender to what your calling is.
Hmm.
And creating a TV show was not in the cards.
Mm.
But through creating Sip Wine and Beer, conversations about everyday life and entrepreneurship started to come up and develop. And through those conversations, I started like a little show called Wineversation. It was just conversations over wine.
Mhm.
And then that caught
The
the
best
eye,
kind.
the best
Yes,
kind,
yes.
because it's free flowing, there's no judgment,
Mhm.
it's like order another bottle and keep the conversation going. And so my producing partner, Teresa Hoyles, she wrote an article about the things that I was doing in my endeavors, and she said, I really think you should consider creating a television show. And I was like, you're crazy. And she said, no, I think you have it. And put our heads together and really created a platform and an environment that was an extension of SIP, where we're sharing the stories and the journeys of people like myself who decided to take that leap of faith. And Fresh Glass was born. So
Oh,
So exciting. Cheryl, I know Cheryl wishes we all had like a glass of wine for this conversation.
I
we
know.
can we
Yeah,
can do mimosas. You tell me.
I've got the orange juice.
Look,
I've
Yeah,
got
full
here we
that.
disclosure, we are in the morning time still, but we are going to take a quick break here. We're going to be back with Cassandra and the story of Fresh Glass in just a quick minute. So up next, more shattering the glasses, really, with Cassandra Shag.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. We are back with Cassandra Shag, and we want to explore more about her new television series, Fresh Glass, which is going to be running right here on YurView this month. She's one of us now, Danielle. I am loving it. She's amazing. And so let's get right back into this. Cassandra, what story or stories are you trying to tell in this series?
Yeah. Fresh Glass is part adventure, social awareness, education, and impact rolled into one. And I am so fortunate to be able to share the stories of some phenomenal entrepreneurs who have created their own brands and made a name for themselves in an industry that is underrepresented. And what that looks like is from the first woman Native American winemaker to the first Black woman to own a winery in the United States and everything in between. We've been able to capture some phenomenal stories that are now cemented in history. And I'm really excited for everyone to take a look at these adventures.
Yeah, and it's so important because I think we learn so much more from people who are different from us than people who are the same. So that's very exciting. And I think the name is very apt. It's called Fresh Glass, which makes it
Mhm.
sound very cool. So, how is Fresh Glass different from other shows about food and drinks?
Yes, what when creating Fresh Glass, what we realized was there isn't a show out there that tells the story from the lens of being a woman and being a person of color as an entrepreneur, as a chef, as a winemaker, as a brewmaster, as a coffee house owner. There's so many things, and within that, it's also going to shed some light and awareness on the challenges that women who decide to take the path of entrepreneurship face, whether that be access, whether that be capital, resources, and really taking a dive into why that is. This is a a story to be told, and it's also a lesson to be learned. But the most important thing is that people out there who, in the back of their minds, wanted to take a leap of faith and for whatever reason didn't, they can see themselves in these stories and say, I think this is my time to do it. So,
Mm.
Fresh Glass is about having a fresh perspective and a
Mhm.
fresh awareness of what is behind a glass or behind a plate of food or behind
Mhm.
the name of a business.
Ooh, it's inside the looking glass. I like this.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we know here, and now I'm sure you know, producing a television show is not easy. And when your friends told you, hey, you should do this, you're going, no, it's not for me. But now you're doing it. So tell all of us, how did you tackle this?
I, I still don't know. What I can tell you is that there were a lot of fresh glasses of bubbles. I do not have a formal training in production. I did not go to film school. What I will tell you, and I think that this might be synonymous with a lot of entrepreneurs, is that you figure it out as you go along.
Yes.
And what was really important and in the forefront of this television show, because I put everything that I had into making sure that everyone we featured just were featured in the best light possible, and that their stories were authentic, and that they were genuine, and that they came from them. And that was what I rolled with. And there were a lot of sleepless nights, because it takes a lot for someone to say, I entrust you to tell my story.
Yes.
And it also takes a lot when this is something that I've never charted into. So for those, I couldn't even, if someone said, write a book about creating a television show, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. The only thing I say to people is, if you want something so bad, that you will go out and do it.
Ooh.
You will make it happen if you want it.
Yes.
Yeah. Just fake it till you make it. Keep showing up, and you're going to learn on your way.
Keep
Absolutely.
showing up. Like there is no method to this except no sleep.
Oh man,
No
the sky is
sleep.
the limit, and you're so inspirational to others. You just got to do it.
Yes, you do have to do it. And even when I sit here and say no sleep, it's so worth it to be able to see what the finished product looks like, and to be able to hear people say, I didn't know that there's a Native American winemaker. I didn't know that the first winemaker, or the first Black woman winery, came from New Orleans. Like, I didn't know. And that is, to be able to create and put something out there that will now be in history, it's exciting.
Yeah. And it's exactly like you said, you just have to keep showing up, and the work is so important, right? They say entrepreneurs trade out a 40-hour-a-week job for all of the hours of the week working, pretty much. But like you said, so worth it, because the purpose is there. What did you learn about making wine and beer during production?
Well, here's the good thing. I did delve into doing harvest and making beer and bottling wine. And I even came out with a fresh glass wine and beer that was commemorative to the show. That the wine was created with Tara Gomez and her wife, Maria, who she's the only Native American woman winemaker in the country, and her wife is a Spanish winemaker. And then I made the fresh glass beer with one of the few Black brewmasters in San Diego County, who's also a former Navy veteran. And so, look, it is a labor of love. And I think when people go to the stores, you're just like, I don't want that, I don't want that. And it's like, when you really delve into the labor and the sacrifice to create a brand that is, a lot of people don't know about. It's hard to market in this grand market. And it takes small businesses and just people who have a purpose and an awareness to make sure that these brands are showcased. That's how they thrive. And that's how I've thrived through Sip Wine and Beer, and now through Fresh Glass. And my hope and goal is that the brands that we feature and continue to thrive.
Absolutely. More of a reason for us to support each other. Small businesses have to help one another out. And before we go, tell us, how can our viewers learn more, watch the shows, and find out if there's going to be another season?
Yes. So you know what? It'll be on YurView starting in February. Please, please, please watch all of these phenomenal entrepreneurs and brands. 6 episodes of a great adventure. You could also go to freshglassproductions.com to learn more about what's in store. You can follow Fresh Glass on Instagram. This is Fresh Glass. And if you're interested to see what happens at Sip Wine and Beer, you can check that out as well on Instagram. #SipWineBeer. So thank you I know it's still too early, but I feel like we should do a celebratory cheers of some sort.
Oh, I wish I could toast right
Yes.
now. Have a
All
little
I have is
something.
my OJ. So if you have a glass, let's do it. Cheers to you.
I have
Cheers
a
to
bottle.
Cassandra Shag.
Yes.
Yes, cheers. And
Bottle.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you to Cassandra Shag. Just cheers to her and all the incredible work she's doing. So definitely check out Fresh Glass. But coming up next, we're going to head to a very special museum in Rhode Island.